Good evening to you all, or good morning. This is just a quick video to give a bit of a shout out to new subscribers. I would message you all, but uh, I guess there's a setting when you subscribe that you make yourself private, or so that I can't message you back or something like that. Yeah, just wanted to say hello to new subscribers, but in particular this recent one here, which is Brigitte Derlien, I think, because I clicked on there and found that she has subscribed to, believe it or not, the world famous Klaus Mathek. This is the guy who's famous for his book called Wood, the Internal Optimization of Trees. And I strongly recommend you take a look at some of his videos. His work would become really important for everybody who wants to understand a bit more about SRT, tree climbing, and in particular what might be the limits of your setting your tie-in point, because I know I've noticed a couple of videos that people have put up where they, it's a video of how they had to be not rescued but picked up by EMTs and stuff because their tie-in point has failed and they've ended up falling out of the tree. So, but this guy is super important, but his book is really good. It's called Wood, the Internal Optimization of Trees. Let's take a quick look at the cover here. That's the cover of the thing. Wood, the Internal Optimization of Trees. It's an older book. I think it's from the 90s. I used this for reference material when I had to give a presentation to my company on tree growth characteristics in relation to utility right-of-way vegetation management stuff, because that's kind of what I do for my full-time job. I'm not a full-time climber anymore. I wish I could be, but it gets these cool, you could see these cool little diagrams and stuff, and makes things a little bit more understandable. But he does go into some of the fundamentals of the physics of mechanics, some equations and stuff like that. But yeah, strongly recommend this guy. He goes into how the branches form against the stem, what are the weak points, all this kind of stuff, which will be super helpful for SRT work, because we know that when we set an SRT base tie over a limb, if it's not chokered, we're multiplying forces and all that kind of thing. So I wanted to say that guy, and then also I want to do a shout out, if I may, to this gentleman right here. And he is not that guy climbing there, but this guy, Mr. Patrick Brandt. I strongly recommend that you look this guy up, and if you're not already subscribed, please do so. And he has, I believe he's down in one of the Carolinas. I guess his website's not on there, but it's his website. I think it's usually in the description of his videos. Is Piedmont Tree Climbing. He is the guy that does the tree swing installations. And he even very kindly took the time to do a video on how to splice the 10x rope that he uses on his swings. It's this one here. He calls it the triple tuck eye splice. There it is, Piedmont Tree Climbing. And he goes into how to splice the rope, but yeah, just usual format, GoPro on the helmet kind of thing. Let's see, I think I remember this one was a good one. and he just shows you how it's basically, it's taking the concept of cabling and bracing, and it's using those principles and the hardware that you would use to install a tree swing. Most people would, I don't know if you could see the video, well, maybe not, you probably would if you watched the video, but most people choker a rope around the limb, which is the worst thing you can do, because you're kind of cutting off the circulation, so to speak. Whereas, as you can see here, is putting like an eye bolt, and that's much better because the tree can heal itself over that tiny little half-inch wound, whatever it is. But yeah, definitely this guy, because I watched a bunch of his stuff, and that's where that video comes from of mine. See if I can go back to that one. Videos. The tree swing inspection stuff. So that's what I'm doing. The only difference I have from Patrick's techniques and his equipment, his materials, is that for my tree climbing, my tree swings, I use all the same techniques and the same hardware, but I use different rope. I use just arborist climb lines. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not, but I suppose it depends on how much force is being applied and how much use is going on. But yeah, so just a couple of shout outs, and yeah, it just like I say, I can't message everybody individually because there's some kind of restriction on getting in touch with some people. This guy here, Arif Rahman Hakim, just a curious coincidence, but I grew up in England, and I lived there obviously until before I moved over here to the United States. But I used to frequent an Indian restaurant that was run, the guy who owned it, his name was Arif, and I was like, oh man, is that Arif? But I can't, I've looked at the photo and I can't tell. And again, it's another one, I can't message the guy. But yeah, so a big hello and a big thank you to new subscribers, and yeah, check out those channels. Right now I'm working on putting some video together. I got a new GoPro. My old GoPro busted, so I had to get a new one, which is the Hero 5. Let's see if I can get that thing. The I can't remember what they call it. The Hero 5 Splice, I think it is, something like that. It's the tiny cube one. But yeah, and it's a real. I gotta tell you, it's a real game changer. This is my old GoPro, and the mounting broke. But the waterproof housing on this particular version, this version was super cheap. It's because the camera is built into the housing. You can't replace the housing. So when it breaks, the camera is done unless you want to break it for parts. Take it to a GoPro wrecker's yard and break it for parts. But yeah, so I have the new Hero 5 Splice. It's a real game changer, man. It's a super advanced piece of kit, and the microphone is really advanced. It picks up the sound really well. So so I'm using that, and I'm gonna try and put together a bit of a video, just going through. I'm gonna climb the big walnut out the back, and we're just gonna go through sort of the principles of load sharing, I guess, when you set a single rope line. You know, how to set it through multiple crotches in order to share the load more than anything else. You know, redirects or whatever. But that's what I'm working on right now. So, but my computer is really slow at building the video. But yeah. So anyway, that's it from me. thanks as always to everybody who subscribes and comments and stuff like that. And I'll see you soon.